Discuss the development of local winds and their influence on local weather, giving 3 examples of the well-known local winds in the world. So the weather of any place is always the result of interplay among many climatic and geographical factors. The local winds, through narrow in scope, bring considerable influence upon the local weather conditions. The major factors that play important role in the development of local winds are temperature, rainfall, proximity to sea, relief, and direction of winds. Aspect vary from place to place. Development of winds is the flow of air. More generally, it is flow of the general gases which compose an atmosphere. Simply, it occurs as air is heated by the sun and thus rises. Cool air then rises in passes into occupy the area the now hot air has moved from. It could be loosely classed as a convection current. Winds are commonly classified by their spatial scale, their speed, and the types of forces that cause them. The geographic regions in which they occur or their effect. There are global winds such as wind belts which exist between the atmospheric circulation cells. There are upper level winds which typically include narrow belts of concentrated flow called jet stream. There are synoptic scale winds that result from the pressure difference in surface air masses in the mid latitudes, and there are winds that come about as a consequence of geographic features such as the sea breeze on coastlines or canyon bridges. The mountains and mesoscale winds are those which act on a local scale, such as gust fronts. At the smallest scale are the microscale winds which blow on a scale of only tens to hundred of meters and are essentially unpredictable, such as dust devils and microburst. Forces which drive wind affect it are the pressure gradient force, the Coriolis force, buoyancy force, and friction force. When a difference in pressure exists between two adjacent air masses, the air leads to flow from the region of high pressure to the region of low pressure on a rotating planet. Flow will be acted upon by the Coriolis force in regions sufficiently far from the equator and sufficiently high above the surface. The 3 major driving factors of large-scale global winds are the differential heating between the equator and the poles and the rotation of the planet. Some local winds blow only under certain circumstances, that is, they require a certain temperature distribution, land breeze and sea breezes. Differential heating is the motive force behind the land breeze and sea breezes, or in the case of larger lakes, lake breeze, also known as or offshore winds. Land absorbs the radiates heat faster than water, but water releases heat over a longer period of time. The result is that in locations where sea and land meet, heat absorbed over the day will be radiated more quickly by the land at night, pulling the air over the sea. Heat is still being released into the air at night, which rises. The convection motion draws the cool land air into replace the rising air, resulting in a land breeze into the late night and early morning. During the day, the roles are reserved. Warm air over the land rises, pulling cool air in front of the sea to replace it, giving the sea breeze during the afternoon and evening. Mountain breeze and valley breezes. Mountain breezes and valley breezes are due to combination of differential heating and geometry. When the sun rises, it is the tops of the mountain peaks which receive first light, and as the day progresses, the mountain slopes take on a greater land heat load than the valleys. This results in a temperature inquiry between the two, and as warm air rises off the slopes, the cool air moves out of the valley to replace it. Thus, upslope wind is called a valley breeze. The opposite side effect takes place in the afternoon as the valley radiates back heat. The peak's long chains could transport air into the valley in a process that is partly gravitational and partly convective, and is called a mountain bridge. Mountain bridges are one example of what is known more generally as a katabatic wind. There are winds driven by cold air flowing down a slope and occur on a larger scale in Greenland and Antarctica. Most often, this term refers to wind air which has cooled over the high cold plateau is set in motion and descends under the influence of gravity. Winds of these types are common in regions of Mongolia and in glaciated locations. Because katabatic refers to significantly vertical motion of the wind, this group has also includes winds which form on the lee side of mountains and heat as a consequence of compression. Such winds may undergo a temperature increase of 20 degrees centigrade or more, and many of the world's named winds list belong to this group. Among the most well-known of these winds are the Chinook of Western Canada, and American Northwest and Swiss Fawn, California, infamous Santa Ana wind, and the French Mistral. The opposite of a katabatic wind is an anabatic wind or an upward moving wind. The above described valley bridge is an anabatic wind, widely used as a term, though one not formally recognized by meteorologists, is orographic wind. This refers to the air which undergoes orographic lifting. Most often, this is in the context of winds such as the Chinook or the Fawn, which undergo lifting by mountain ranges before descending and warming on the lee side. The influence of local winds generally has two major dimensions: either during extremities, normal weather conditions, or moderates the influence of already existing extreme conditions. The local winds are found almost in all major climatic regions. Their influence range from the geographical to cultural aspect also. They considerably influence the occasional structure, way of living, settlement type, and pattern, etc. The development and influence of three major local winds is as under. Northern Pacific Ocean, Chinook, Rockies. Chinook, mainly North America. The Chinook originated over Northern Pacific Ocean near the coast of North America. It brings considerable influence over prairie grassland in Canada and US. These winds come in southwesterly direction and ascends the Rockies, and this as descent to prairies. They are actually come with the depression, while ascending Rockies they bring significant rainfall and even sometimes snowfall over Rockies. As they are very humid while descending, they lose their moisture and the temperature rises considerably. Now these winds become hot and dry. In plains they melt the snow covered by pasture, and animal rearing and agriculture become possible. For this various reason, they are widely welcomed and hence called snow eater. Europe, Sirocco, Mediterranean Sea, Africa. Sirocco mainly Sirocco Mediterranean. Sirocco originates over northern Sahara desert, and hence it is not a hot, dry, and dusty wind. It is most frequent in spring through its intensity varies with shift in presence belt system. It moves in northward direction. After reaching the Mediterranean Sea, it gains moisture and the temperature also comes down. Still, it remains hot. Its scorching heat hampers the growth of vegetation and crops in Mediterranean regions. It has many counterparts in this region. It may be also called blood rain. It carries red dust from Sahara Desert. Europe Alps, Mistral, Mediterranean Sea. Mistral. This is a cold wind which originates over snow-laden Alps mountain system. This wind moves in a southerly direction towards Mediterranean Sea. This moves along Rhone Valley as a violent his speed wind. The shape of the valley further intensifies its speed. This wind is most frequent during winter. The impact of this wind is so profound that the fields and houses have to be protected from this wind by constructing a wall in the north. Thus, the local winds have always been an important part of weather system. In any place, they definitely play an important role in each and every aspect of human life. Thank you.